Alrighty. Jumping on easy mode. Doing career mode, but we're not having oxygen drain, we're not having a timer on missions, we're just willing to enjoy the experience. Did the tutorial last night, now we're trying out some of the actual missions. So I believe, okay, so it's saved at the end of the last one. Mapped it into the habitation. Yep, there was no shift. Go on, continue.
Welcome to your new home, Cutter. Has everything you need.
Ah, it didn't save after this bit of the tutorial. That's annoying.
The long-term employee habitation something or other. But around here, we just call it your hab. Okay, let's have a look at your employee terminal. Now let's get caught up on career progression.
I really wish there was a way to skip dialogue faster.
I've sent you a message with an explanation now. Go on and give it a read. Clear as mud? Don't worry. I'm here to walk you through the process, and soon enough I'm going to introduce you to some of the other shipbreakers. Most of them are willing to help you out too. Alright, let's start a new shift and pick your first ship to work on. This is the catalog that shows you which ships you have access to from the shipyard. Every day you can choose to continue working on the ship you've got or start a fresh one. Go ahead and pick one, anyone, and we'll get to work.
I assume they're all pretty much the same. The Nox reminds me of Equinox. Good game. Okay.
She's all yours, Cutter. Your primary goal is to reach rank 3. Now try to remember, nanocarbon goes in the processor, aluminum goes in the furnace. Try to salvage the entire ship if you can. We call it using the whole buffalo. You'll hit your certs faster that way, and start knocking out that debt of yours. I'll be observing and giving you any help if you need it.
Okay, how can we get into this thing? So going from the top, maybe? Can we pull that? No. What was it? Different mode. Can we do this? No. Okay, so what am I missing to be able to crack into this thing? I do have to do it from the inside out. There is an airlock here. How do we get at the panels and stuff then? Well, that seems to be a good start. Not enough. There we go. Gotta wait till it kind of does a little click sort of thing. So, can that now... Remove for access to the radiation filter. Ooh, that sounds tricky. Alright. There's cut level 1. So, can we just start yanking this shit? No. we do need to still cut it. Okay, what happens if I do this? And okay.
Now I know these ships look intimidating to scrap at first, but trust me, soon enough you'll be stripping the huge Gecko-class freighters like they're
Well, we
nothing.
got a bit of something.
Got my start salvaging back down Earthside in the droid scrapping business. You know what made me come up here? Well, one day we got a batch of this particular model in. One of them kinds with synthetic skin and everything. We almost never saw people looking ones like that. They were always too expensive to manufacture. Seems someone found a warehouse full of them, mothballed for, 20 years or so, since the AI ban took effect. Probably bought the whole lot for pennies, thinking they could turn a tiny profit with the salvage.
Okay, that's
No
not
word
what to
of a
do.
lie. These things looked
So how did
exactly
that
like
one
what
come
Pepper
loose?
did. Even had the same
But this one didn't.
slack-jawed expression. Now, Jed and I wasn't exactly pals or nothing. All the same, I couldn't bring myself to start smashing that dopey face. And that's when I looked into getting on with Lex. Tell you what, it's a sight better to cut up something that doesn't look like a family relation. Anyway, I'm running on. I'll clear the channel. Holler if there's anything giving you grief up there, Cutter. Weaver out.
Can I get rid of this yet? No? How do I manage that then? Also, are you a piece that I should be able to collect or something? There's a bit of detritus floating around. No. Because that's like free of that, but it's still attached to this? It's all the same thing. This is no longer attached to anything at all. So what is its problem? There we go, now we've got some bits floating loose. Oh, it still thinks it's attached even though I cut between it. Alright, whatever. Out we come, and aim, and poof.
Material deposited.
Okay, so we've got to start with that exterior bit first, it seems. That, and this, and that. There we go. If anything goes too loose in here, it'll just get caught by the confines of the ship itself still.
Raw material processed. Credits deposited.
I need to cut that away from the side, of course. That went through, didn't it? Come on, out we come. There's a thing to like reel things in, I think, wasn't there, to like pull them towards me. Oh, that whole thing just came loose. Sweet. Is that small enough to go into that whole thing there? Come on, up we come. Up we come. Bloody thing has a lot of momentum. Just a bloody yo-yo at this point. Let's do this. And swing.
Processing valuable objects.
Can I not go into the processor, please? Did I get too close? I got too close. It's now just pulling me in. I don't seem to be able to get out of this position now. There we go, reel. That's the one. Right click and you reel yourself in. Maybe. Okay. Crisis averted. That's the engine. I don't know how you get rid of that safely. Like that. Get in there.
Valuable object processed.
Okay, now where were we?
Material deposited.
Good music in this game too, which is good. Yeah, what's this holding on to? Nothing. Good. That one's still apparently solid in there, so is this apparently. I don't know on what? Oh, the floor on the other side it seems. It's weird how some things seem to stay attached and others don't. Ah, this thing, probably. Possibly. Oh, that whole panel is now gone. Cool. Oh, perfectly lined up for that processor there. It'll get there eventually. At the very least, it's on the right path.
Raw material processed. Credits deposited.
These are still attached to something, apparently. Ah, that, okay. So you're fixing ships? No, quite the opposite.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
We are breaking them apart. Though the rules of how things connect to one another are a bit odd.
Deposit accepted.
What's this attached to anymore? There's a gap there. Okay, this bit over here. I wonder what the best thing to do about that is. Because you want to salvage as much as possible. So we just want to do that, I think. And then whoop, this. There we go. That's got it. It's a good bit. Good chunk. Wallop. Now we're starting to get somewhere. Boot. Basically, I have a propulsion cannon, which is fun. And boot. Now we can note out of range. Nope. There we go. So that drops that panel away. Down we come. Push it towards the processing unit. And warp. Now.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
How do we peel away more of this banana? Get rid of that and this. That's this whole bit. Sweet. Bit of a bump. Come on, come on. Get in there.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
Is that this whole bit here? That's still attached to something else somewhere else, isn't it? Or it's just too big. Interesting looking game. Yeah, I thought so. I've had it recommended to me by quite a few people. It's still in early access, but yeah, as you can see, it's pretty fully functional, and it's just a pretty relaxing gameplay loop. Music's really nice.
Credits deposited.
It's kind of that space western style of music, kind of like Firefly-esque. Yeah, it's got that one. Reel this in. Reeling it in is actually pulling me to it, I think. Let's just get out of its way. Okay, or not. There we go. It'll get there eventually. Yeah, sound effects and stuff are really great. Obviously, you know, there's the whole idea of you don't get sound in space, of course, but, you know, I guess you're holding on to everything so you feel the vibrations, which is essentially the same thing, so... There is like challenge modes and stuff where you have time limits, oxygen limits and things like that, so I guess you have to keep going back to your habitation module and stuff all the time for more oxygen. But that just sounds a bit tedious, quite frankly. I'm sure I'll give it a go at some point on harder settings, but just to get the hang of it.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
Now is this bit here, these what I want to get rid of now. Zap. And zap. Is there something in here that I need to do to get rid of this bit? Or is it just a case of having to remove one part before the next? Did that loosen up anything? Oh yeah, that looks like it's come loose now. This whole thing's lifting away. Yes. That's what we wanted. Let's just try and pull it this way a bit. Or just get in behind it and push, I think. It's probably easier. Because it's a big chunky boy. Give it a bit more momentum. And a bit more momentum. It should get there eventually. Sweet. Okay, next thing. This panel. Did that loosen up anything? No. Probably get rid of this now, can't we? No? Still can't get rid of this? Okay. It's literally floating in the middle of space, but alright. Got this one. Where's the furnace? Over there.
Deposit accepted.
What is this attached to? It's not attached to anything. I can see space all around it. Early access, yeah. Fair point. If you're too close to something, the cutting beam looks like it's much further away than it is, of course, as well. Make sure I'm actually locked on the right bit of metal, if I can. Is that loosened up this whole thing now? Yes, there we go. Including my mysterious floating piece. Wallop. That's a bit neater.
Material deposited.
Things hang a bit loose. Oh, did I accidentally cut through that or something? Looks like I may have. Oh well. So... So what's this? This is aluminium furnace, 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 furnace. Then we've got the hull on the outside. Is this now loose? Yes. Good. Nanocarbon, which goes in the processor. Just let that have some momentum for now. Give it a bit of a shunt. Bit more of a shunt. Bit more of a shunt. There we go. Now we've got this nice big aluminium panel in behind it, which I can't yet take care of because it's still attached to structural things. Though not much, it must be said. Hey, first salvage gold recent. Sweet. So if I just do this, it doesn't cut the structural bits on the edge. Can I target those, please? There we go. And then the other side. Let me target you, please. Can I just cut it without it targeting? Seemingly. There we go. Over this way. And fire. Should get in there somehow. You coming with me. Oof. And
Raw
you.
material processed. Credits deposited.
Did that get in there? Yeah, it did. There we go. It's just taking its sweet time to get in there. Okay, what are we left with here? Ah, there's the structural stuff. Let's blast this. And blast this. There we go. That's the whole bottom panel out of the way. Guide it gently over this way. Oh no, 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 not the furnace, not the furnace, not the furnace. Wrong one, wrong one, wrong one. Come on, get out of it. Can we even save it from there now? Yes, we can. If you use a much longer tether, that generates a bit more momentum on it. You can swing it. Nice.
Credits deposited.
Okay, what have we got next? Let's get rid of these.
Frequent cutting to a well load can lead to the loss of preferred employee status.
Oh, it overheated. Didn't realize that was a thing. I see the gauge on the actual thing itself. There we go. Makes sense. Okay, give it a nudge. How do we free the rest of this one, I wonder? Did that get to where I want it to go? No, not quite. Oh, it's slowly getting there. I have to be closer for that to work. There we go, got it.
Processed. Credits awarded. awarded.
Okay, was I doing this side or the other side? I was doing this side. Busy to get a bit turned around. Let's come in here. Zap. And zap. Does the Earth spin in the game? I'm not sure. I haven't observed it for long enough to be able to tell. Did that loosen this up entirely, or...? Yeah, it looks like it's come loose. There we go. I'll finish this bit and then I'll take a closer look at the Earth. Yeah, give that a bit more of a nudge. I don't think it does. I believe we're in geostationary orbit. Which makes sense. So we're just above the same part of what I believe is South America. Because you can see Central America up through there. And the Caribbean up there. Of course the idea is everything's a bit flooded. It is in the future after all. But that's Brazil down there, I think. Because there's the Antilles leading up from that. There's Mexico. Florida's underwater. Someone had fun painting this map. America looks a bit dry. Yeah, I imagine so. Dry and wet at the same time, depending on where you're looking. I mean, America looks a bit dry just at the moment. California's getting absurd temperatures, apparently. That whole seaside sort of area. What do you call it? Seaboard. The intro to this game is quite amusing. It's very Altera-esque in that you are basically accepting this job or applying to this job in order to basically have a job and some eventual income, but you go like $1.2 trillion into debt at first. So first you have to pay that back. Has that freed this bit up? Yep. Push that away.
Object processed. Credits awarded.
Bloomp. Czech Republic got a powerful tornado. There's been a few tornadoes and stuff lately. Leonard was saying there was one in Austria the other day. Is this whole front just hanging loose now? I think it might be. Is this? Yeah, this is now loose. Nice. I think it was the same one. Ah, yeah, if it was by the border, I guess that makes sense. Ooh, you. Let's get you out of the way because you're a smaller bit, so you will travel faster. Plop. That was satisfying. This is a huge bit to have to deal with. You. Furnace with you.
Deposit accepted.
Let's just drag that up that way a little bit. Wallop. I don't know if I can cut this down to size at all, but by cutting you lose some parts of it. by the area that you cut. What do you want to put in the red and what do you want to put in the blue? What it tells me to. So you'll notice in the middle, below my crosshair, it says processor. So the blue is the processor, the red is the furnace. So nanocarbons go for processing, and then it's something else. Titanium? Aluminium? Aluminium goes in the furnace. So it tells you where to put things, you don't need to like memorize them or anything.
Material deposited.
It's getting there slowly. This whole thing's on a bit of an angle now, so I think this has started to lose integrity. Could probably start to just pulling some of it around.
Credits awarded.
If I can free everything from the superstructure, I can probably start to... Oh, apparently that's considered complete. No, it's goddamn not. There's still plenty of it. It's not complete. That should be this out of the way, maybe. Gotta pull it off the front first, I think. There we go. It's like a big boat. Spin that over there. So it gets highlighted orange if you can't move it yet. There's still some structure there. But I think we also can start just cutting away at this bit.
Valuable objects processed. Credits awarded.
Get rid of that. And where was it? That. Haven't quite got rid of everything. Roll it around a bit and cut there maybe? No. Seems I can't cut that bit. I'm confused about what's not letting me cut there. Oh, it is just free anyway. Cool. That whole bit at the end there is now loose. Nice. To the furnace with ye. That's a bit low. Yeah, it'll get there, it'll rebound. There we go. Next. The targeting is a bit finicky, it must be said. But I don't know if I actually need to target it or not. No, see, that kind of worked without.
Raw material processed. Credits deposited.
There we go. Nice big panel. Wallop. Smaller piece. What's attached and what isn't. Well, apparently that's all that needed for that one. Cool. It's a bit of an odd shape, but we'll take it. Make sure it goes the right direction. So then this will just loosen up this bit here. Is that another piece there that hasn't gone in properly? It is. There we go. Get in there. But this whole thing, it seems, is now a big chunk. It's kind of floating away. And some of it is for the processor, some of it's for the furnace, so I do need to still break it up a bit. Hey, Arcturus. We need to find the structural pieces in here, I think. Somehow? How can we separate this? Because there's some furnace bits and some processor bits still. But I can't figure out how to break them apart. Another all-time great game. Seems to be. It's not even finished yet. So this is all for the furnace. But the outer shell is for the processor still. We start just doing some cuts in strategic places. Maybe. I just need to like just pull it apart. Maybe I'm not meant to actually deal with this bit. Don't know. Those are bits of the furnace a bit, the processor bits. Let's try and just cut this like in half. Well, I mean, that got something. What up? Breaking apart ships? Yep, basically salvaging.
Raw material processed. Credits deposited.
I mean, I can always just shunt the whole thing into something, but things are meant to go in their own place, so I'm trying to make it so that it goes in the right part. Like, I'm theoretically finished, but... So I don't think I can cut that, can I? No. I need to cut this bit. Try and do like an angle cut here. Don't know what that has achieved necessarily. Hard to tell. Well, we got another bit. We're just getting little pieces at this point.
Deposit accepted.
Can maybe just get these side bits. Used to be way harder to wing around. Yeah, I think they've tried to make it so your kind of tether gun thing is just a little bit more reliable. There's a loose bit. Out you come. Off you go.
Material deposited.
Bothers me that the ship itself is not held in some way by something.
Raw material processed. Credits deposited.
Don't know if it'll matter if there's a few aluminium bits on a thing that I chuck into the processor. It's basically I'm just trying to trim away all of this aluminium bits so that I can just get the processor stuff. End up wasting a fair bit of the metal, unfortunately.
Raw material processed. Credits deposited.
So how's that still attached? That's all this stuff here, isn't it? Because it's like it's treating it as different components, but it's only showing as one. Oop, that cut all the way through there, apparently. Oops. That wasn't what I meant to do. Did it clip through? I don't even know. Oh no, it's still there, is it? What happened? There's a floating bit of aluminium in here. Well, whatever. It's almost like those bits that should be being treated like the bits that you just kind of obliterate to free up superstructure areas. But it's not being treated like that. It's like, how am I supposed to trim this away from that processor bit? Well, that kind of works. That's not the bit that I wanted freed up, but alright, take it. Cool. Okay, well that's a bit better. All that for the furnace, everything else for the processor. Now it's showing up like that's a single panel. There we go. And that one's now free as well. Oof. Just as well you don't like have impact damage. So that bit's still for the furnace, this bit's still for the processor, this little bit is still for the furnace, and I have no idea how to free it up. Okay, but we got some panels off that side, which means we should be able to get the panels off this side as well. It's an awkward shape. It's all just kind of shuffling around inside now. Let me bring out this back area here. Get it on an angle, maybe. Wiggle it around a bit. There we go. Well, where are we going? Okay, now where's the rest of that ship going? It's just drifting, unfortunately.
Material deposited.
Okay. Get rid of that. And bring us out here. And thump.
Deposit accepted.
So it's mostly processor stuff now. Is that bit free? Yes, good.
Raw material processed. Credits
Gets there in the end, you just need to get it close enough pretty much. At what point can I just grab that? No, not yet. Nope, still not yet. There we go. Aim and fire. Right, there's mostly processor stuff here now, isn't it? Like, the bulk of it. There's one more panel here, looks like. Two more panels, okay. Still not free. How do we free up that panel? What's it connected to? How about we just like cut it in half? Okay, we've got that bit.
Deposit accepted.
Like the tiniest bit of aluminium there still. Whatever. Trying to get this bit somehow. There we go. And it got the support strut as well, that's good. Where's the furnace? Other side. We're getting quite close to that processor now. Just want to see what you're doing. See you later. Thanks for dropping by. And sorry I missed the message earlier. Bop. There we go.
Raw material processed. Credits deposited.
Now, there was still a little bit more aluminium in here. Yep, this bit. Should rebound. Yep. This panel, which is now loose. Excellent. Wallop. What's the betting I was meant to actually like go into my hab and rank up before finishing this job, and instead I'm just trying to finish the job. That would not surprise me in the slightest. What is that needs to go in the furnace? Glass. Okay, so glass goes in the furnace. Okay, interesting. Cool, that's freed up that bit. I think this has been the backstop of some cuts previously, so it's already partially loose. Cool. Let's pull that from the outside now. Glass 1, glass 2. There's a third bit somewhere, I think. Has it floated away a bit too much? Where was the third bit? Oh, there's a bit over here too. Where's the last bit of glass that I'd freed? Did it float a bit far away and it's just really hard to see? Probably. Who the hell knows now? It's glass, it's not going to be easy to spot. Need a little mini-map or something. Actually, scanner? Well, there's something here.
Material deposited.
Is that over there? Ah, gotcha. Cool. So that's the support beams and stuff. And there's a little bit of glass still in there in the edges, but I kind of don't care about that at this point. Yeah, it's like a tiny bit of aluminium that still needs to go into a furnace. Don't know how I can maybe detach that. Oh, just like that. Just like that. Wallop.
Deposit accepted.
Still a little bit on that side as well. Let's just wallop this thing into the... Whoops. Crushing alert, apparently. I've gotten much closer to things before without that being a problem, but alright. Let's just turn that way. And wallop. We'll see if I get like penalized for there still being furnace bits that go into the processor, but that's a big chunk of stuff that can all be processed. We watch it sail away.
Processing valuable object. Credits awarded.
Okay, I'm gonna guess that there was those little red marks on my thing for saying that I didn't do something quite right, but I think we're pretty much finished. So we're just gonna head back now. Back to the hab, then we'll take a short break, and then we'll review our mission in shift. Yes. Okay, so we've got a few things that got destroyed, so that'll be the residual bits, but like, that's negligible. 36 kilos, 9, 6, that's nothing compared to thousands. It looks like glass is actually really valuable, so I'm glad I did figure that one out. 831,000 credits against my debt of 1.25 trillion. Yay! Continue. Recruit.
Certification level attained. License
Rank 3.
level increased.
Class 2 certification. And links tokens, which I have no idea what they're for at this point. Continue. Do I have any more like tutorial
Looking good,
bit?
Cutter. Now go ahead and pick another ship.
Hazards, fire. Encounter fire hazards for fuel and flaming objects. All good fun. So you gotta be careful you don't destroy things, I guess. Link's kiosk. So that's what the tokens are for, I guess, and that's where you got stuff that's probably useful in the proper mode,